In the quietest moments of a human life, when all the sounds of the outer world fade away, we often hear a small yet powerful whisper from deep within our own heart. It is the call toward kindness. Toward a gentle and compassionate state that we were all born with, a quality that Buddhism names with a word both simple and immense: compassion. Perhaps there is no quality as both fragile and strong as this. It is soft like water, yet it can cut through the hardest stones within a person. It is silent like the breath, yet has the power to change the direction of a life. No one teaches us to have compassion, but somehow, every time we witness another's suffering, we feel an invisible string within our chest gently vibrate. This is not weakness, but the sign that a door to our true nature is opening. Buddhism does not view compassion as a virtue to decorate life with, but as a real energy, an underground stream that nourishes the mind, helping us rediscover the deep connection we share with one another and with existence itself. And because of that, understanding the power of compassion is not merely a moral lesson, but a spiritual journey that leads us back to the original source within. We are living in an age where everything becomes cold faster than ever. Technology allows us to connect instantly, yet it makes our hearts grow distant. Busyness fills every quiet space, turning people into hurried shadows, moving through life while trying to hide the wounds that have never been healed. We connect through screens, yet feel lost in the home of our own soul. And amid all these changes, compassion is not a beautiful word to hang on a wall, it is the only bridge that can bring people back to one another. In Buddhist teachings, compassion is not a sudden emotion, but the result of awakening. Only when we see the nature of impermanence, see that all suffering has its causes, see that everyone is struggling with the same fears and incompleteness, can we open our hearts fully to others. And the strange thing is that when we open our hearts, we heal ourselves. Compassion is a two-way doorway, we give so that others suffer less. But at the same time, we receive a sense of lightness within our own minds. It does not weaken us, on the contrary, it helps us stand firm in life with an unshakable strength. Perhaps every human journey begins with the question, how do I end my suffering? But the path of awakening leads us to another question, how do I help others suffer less? In the moment we cross the boundary of the small self, we touch a freedom larger than any personal joy. It is the freedom of a heart not covered by hatred, fear, or doubt. It is the power of compassion, a quiet strength that can melt the long winters inside the mind. In old stories, people say that just one compassionate word can save someone from despair. One understanding look can soothe a shattered soul. And one small but sincere action can change the entire direction of a life. This power does not lie in the size of the action, but in the purity of the heart. Compassion needs no stage, no applause, and no proof of being right. It only needs the presence of a soul that knows how to listen and understand. When we speak of compassion in Buddhism, we are not only speaking of love. We are speaking of wisdom. Compassion and wisdom are like two wings of a bird. Without one, the bird cannot fly. Love without understanding can become attachment or blind sacrifice. But cold intelligence without compassion turns a person into a lifeless analyst. Only when these two qualities merge can we walk through life with clarity and warmth, seeing clearly the nature of all things without losing connection to the shared suffering of humanity. Each of us has the ability to open this power. It does not depend on circumstances, status, or material ability. Anyone can begin with a small gesture, a simple action. A presence that is fully there. And each time we do so, we light another candle in the dark. When many candles are lit, the whole world changes, not through loud revolutions, but through quiet transformations within each human being. And that is why Buddhism sees compassion not only as a practice but as the path back to ourselves. Because when we live with compassion, we are no longer driven by the small self, no longer covered by comparison, competition, or fear. We become our purest nature, open, gentle, and whole, when contemplating more deeply the nature of compassion. We realize that it is not something that needs to be created, but something that needs to be uncovered. Compassion already exists within every human being like a seed lying still beneath the soil of busyness, worries, and survival habits. Buddhism shows us the way back, the way to nurture that seed through mindfulness and understanding. This means that compassion is not the result of force or effort, but the blossoming of a heart that has learned to release its old coverings. In many ancient teachings, there is an image that is often mentioned, the image of sunlight. The sun does not choose whom to shine upon, nor does it exclude anyone. It does not distinguish who deserves light and who does not. True compassion is the same, it radiates naturally, without calculation, without condition. When our mind is no longer distorted by anger, selfishness, or fear, compassion becomes the nature that reveals itself. That is why Buddhist practice is not first about learning to love others, but about learning to clean our own mind. A pure heart naturally knows how to love. But reaching that purity is a whole journey. And that journey always begins with looking directly at suffering, not with avoidance or resistance, but with understanding. Buddhism teaches that suffering is not the enemy, it is the teacher. When we can accept and observe suffering with calmness, we see its roots. From this understanding, compassion begins to grow. We understand that everyone suffers in different ways, everyone is caught in illusions and fears just as we once were. Understanding this, we no longer blame others for hurting us, nor do we stay angry with ourselves for our shortcomings. Instead, we begin to cultivate patience, gentleness, and tolerance. There are moments in life when we unexpectedly touch another person's pain. A sad gaze passing through a crowded street. A stranger crying silently. A familiar person, seemingly strong, suddenly letting out a deep sigh. In those moments, if we are mindful enough, we realize they do not need anything grand from us. Sometimes just a non-judgmental look, a gentle question, or a fully present moment can help them stand more firmly. Compassion is not about saving someone, but about creating a space where they feel safe enough to heal themselves. But to open our hearts to others, we must first know how to open our hearts to ourselves. This is what many people forget. We easily love others but struggle to forgive ourselves. We may be patient with others' mistakes, but harsh with our own stumbles. Buddhism calls this the lack of compassion for oneself, a very common but dangerous deficiency, because when we criticize ourselves too much, the heart slowly closes. A closed heart cannot offer full love to anyone. Compassion toward oneself is not an excuse or indulgence. It is the recognition that we are human like everyone else, with limits, mistakes, and moments of weakness. When we know how to embrace ourselves in those moments, without condemning or judging, we create the foundation for greater compassion. Because a person who does not know how to love themselves cannot love anyone else deeply. Every softness we give ourselves is a step toward opening our heart to the world. When we can love ourselves, we more easily realize that everyone is fighting invisible battles that we cannot see. A person who gets angry easily may be the one suffering the most. A quiet person may be carrying too much within. Someone who appears arrogant may actually be the most afraid. Understanding this, we stop reacting instinctively and begin responding with empathy. Not because we want to appear virtuous, but because we understand that every human action has deep causes. Within that understanding, a small but important transformation occurs. We no longer want to win against anyone. We no longer want to compete, no longer want to prove ourselves right, no longer want to control others according to our will. We simply want everyone to be at peace. And when that wish arises from a genuine heart, it becomes the motivation for us to live more kindly each day. Compassion is not theory, it is a moment-to-moment choice, choosing understanding instead of anger, listening instead of judging, softness instead of rigidity. But compassion also has a great challenge: it requires courage. We must dare to look at the suffering of others without turning away. We must dare to stand before their wounds without closing our hearts. We must dare to love even when the world seems cold. And sometimes, we must dare to walk away at the right time to protect our own kindness. Buddhism does not teach us to endure endlessly the things that harm us. Compassion is not self-sacrifice, but a wise approach, loving without attachment, helping without blind sacrifice, opening the heart without destroying oneself. In the flow of practice, when compassion has become steady, we begin to see a profound change in how we move through life. We no longer see the world as a place of conflict, but as a school. Each person is a lesson. Each situation is an opportunity. Each difficulty is a reminder that we are all going through the valleys of karma and ignorance together. Compassion helps us see life not with the eyes of selfishness, but with the eyes of companionship. And then, we begin to slow down. Not because we are tired, but because we want to feel more deeply each moment of connection with those around us. A smile offered is no longer merely social etiquette, but a thread of connection. A wish for peace is no longer a formality, but a gift from the heart. Compassion makes every action, no matter how small, meaningful. That compassion, when nurtured over time, becomes a light that shines from the practitioner. No need to speak much, no need to explain anything, just their presence can make others feel at peace. Because compassion is not something we show, but something that naturally radiates when the mind has become still. As we continue to walk deeper on the path of practice, compassion gradually becomes a mirror reflecting every movement of the mind. Each time the mind gives rise to anger or resistance, that mirror helps us see clearly: the anger is only a thin layer of dust covering our inherently gentle nature. Instead of blaming ourselves for still being angry, we learn to blow the dust away with the breath, with gentle awareness. And so, every mindful moment is another time we cleanse our mind, allowing compassion within us to reveal itself more naturally. In daily life, compassion is tested not when we are sitting in meditation, but in very ordinary moments, when we are misunderstood, when we face someone who dislikes us, when we witness someone acting in ways that contradict our expectations. It is these situations that show us the stability of our hearts. A heart full of compassion does not react quickly, it listens before deciding. It understands that behind every action is a long story we have never known. Sometimes, just a moment of slowing down within can save us from speaking words that hurt others. A sentence spoken from anger can cut the thread of connection that might take a very long time to mend. Compassion reminds us that every confrontation can become an opportunity to understand each other better, if we know how to pause and look with the eyes of tolerance. Not everyone is mindful enough to do this. But if even one person chooses gentleness, the situation can already shift. There are days when we step into life with an open heart, wanting to offer a smile, a helping hand, or simply a sincere presence. But there are also days when we ourselves are the ones who need to be held, who need to hear a comforting word, who need someone to look at us with understanding. Buddhism calls this the natural functioning of life, moments of giving and moments of receiving. And both directions are expressions of compassion. Giving does not make us poorer, and receiving does not make us weak. Compassion is complete only when we can embrace both our strong days and our tired days. In the process of practice, there is a subtle truth that many people eventually realize: the more compassionate we are, the better we are at setting boundaries. Boundaries are not to exclude, but to protect our ability to love. A source of water, no matter how pure, cannot continue to refresh if it is constantly drained without being replenished. Similarly, the heart needs care in order to remain open. Sometimes, stepping away from what exhausts us is the most compassionate act we can do for ourselves and for others. Because we cannot offer peace when we ourselves are not at peace. When compassion becomes the foundation, we begin to look at life with a new depth. We no longer see others as separate individuals but as pieces of the same flow. Another person's suffering is no longer just their own, we feel it as part of ourselves. Not because we take responsibility on their behalf, but because we realize that all human beings are connected by invisible threads of karma, suffering, and the desire to be happy. This recognition makes our heart softer every day. There are mornings when, looking at the hurried crowds on the street, we suddenly feel compassion for them. Not pity, but compassion born of understanding that each person is carrying invisible burdens. Worries about the future, disappointments not yet released, wounds that cannot be spoken. We are just like them. No one is different. And when we see this similarity, the compassion within us becomes a gentle stream that embraces everything without needing words. Compassion does not only appear in grand acts such as helping someone in despair, it is also present in the small moments we often overlook. A grateful look, a gentle gesture to let someone go ahead, a moment of patience when someone is irritable. These things may seem insignificant, but they form the fabric of a kinder world. If everyone waits for big deeds to perform, compassion will never have the ground to blossom. But if everyone cares about the small things, compassion will spread like the morning light. There are times when we offer compassion and receive nothing in return but silence. Others may not understand, may not respond, or may even misunderstand our goodwill. But Buddhism teaches that the value of compassion does not lie in others' reactions. Compassion is the fruit of inner practice, not a transaction. When we give without expecting, our hearts open a little more. When the heart opens, our inner world changes before the outer world does. And that is the quiet power of compassion, it heals us even while we are trying to heal others. Even so, the path of compassion is not always straight. There will be days when we are tired, moments when we want to close off, when we no longer wish to understand anyone. We feel we have given too much. We wonder whether kindness still has meaning in this world. In such moments, instead of blaming ourselves, we only need to breathe. Pause. Hold our exhaustion like holding a child. Because we too need to be treated with compassion. And when we know how to turn inward to care for ourselves, the flame in our heart will reignite, gentle but enduring. Then one day, we will feel what long-time practitioners understand. Compassion does not make us fragile, compassion makes us strong in a way no hardness can compare. A hardened heart can withstand storms, but a heart full of compassion cannot be harmed by storms. It does not break, does not crack, does not collapse. It only expands. And when the heart expands, all suffering becomes material for our growth. In that growth, we realize that compassion is also wisdom. It helps us know when to stay and when to leave, when to speak and when to be silent, when to support others and when to let them stand on their own. Compassion does not interfere with others' karma, it only offers them the peace needed to see their own path clearly. And then, without knowing when it happened, we walk through life with a quietness we never knew before. Compassion has become the breath, has become the gaze, has become the way we touch the world. We no longer seek perfection, no longer force life to bend to our will. We simply exist, wholehearted, sincere, and open. When the journey of compassion reaches its final quiet point, we realize that all the transformations that have taken place throughout this path of practice do not lie in grand rituals or radiant moments, but in the incredibly subtle changes in the way we live, we breathe, we see life and see people. Compassion, after all, is not a philosophy to memorize or a goal to reach. It is a gentle stream flowing through every moment of life, washing the dry corners of the soul, quietly nurturing a heart that is more open, deeper, and more authentic. One day, when looking back at our own journey, we may see that the starting point of compassion is always a very small question: why did they do that? But the ending point of compassion is a very soft period, I understand. Between these two marks is the transformation of the heart, from reaction to empathy, from resistance to acceptance, from winning and losing to letting go. It is a long journey, sometimes slow, sometimes shaky, but always meaningful. Compassion helps us see life through the eyes of reconciliation. It reminds us that everyone is carrying a story that no one fully knows. Someone may be short-tempered because they are under too much pressure. Someone may be careless because they are exhausted. Someone may cause hurt because they themselves are hurt. When we understand this, we can walk through the world without carrying the need to judge. We simply want to find ways to see everything more lightly, because we know that heaviness only brings more suffering to ourselves and to others. Here, compassion becomes wisdom. It does not make us live unconditionally in a blind way, nor does it make us more easily wounded. On the contrary, it teaches us to love at the right time, to protect the heart in the right way, to maintain boundaries in the right places. Compassion combined with wisdom is like water combined with a boat. Water helps the boat move, and the boat helps the water take shape. Without wisdom, compassion may become fragile. Without compassion, wisdom may become cold. When these two elements meet, they create an immense transformative energy. A heart full of compassion has the power to heal not only others but also ourselves. Many wounds in life cannot disappear with time alone, they are soothed only when we know how to look at them with gentleness. When we practice opening our hearts to our own pain, instead of running away or blaming ourselves, we are placing the hand of compassion on that wound. That hand does not make the pain vanish immediately, but it lets us know that we are not alone on this journey. And that companionship is the strength that allows us to stand up once more. Sometimes, just a small moment is enough to open the door of compassion. A timely hug. An understanding look. "It's okay," spoken with a loving voice. These things may be as light as the wind, but for someone suffering, they can be an entire sky. They may never say it, but their heart remembers. Just as we were once embraced by someone at the most unstable moment of our lives, and that moment became a warm lifelong memory. Compassion may be small, but its echo is incredibly lasting. And then, as the compassion within us grows, we begin to feel something we never knew before. The world becomes lighter. Things that once made us angry now become opportunities to listen. People who once bothered us now become mirrors for reflection. Moments that once exhausted us now become lessons for growth. Compassion does not change the outside world, it changes the way we step into that world. And when the way we walk changes, everything around us seems to soften. The most miraculous thing about compassion is that it never stops at one person. When we act with kindness, others feel it. When they are nourished, they spread that energy to others as well. A small compassionate act can reach people we have never met. It passes through one heart to another, like a flame passed from one candle to the next. The more it is shared, the more light there is. The more light there is, the smaller the darkness becomes. Therefore, when we plant a seed of compassion, we never know where it will bloom, but it surely will bloom. Ultimately, when the journey back to the heart is complete, we realize a profound truth: compassion is not only the way we treat others, but also the way we exist within our own lives. We become lighter, more peaceful, more whole. We know that every morning is a new opportunity to understand a little more, love a little more, and spread a little more of the light we carry in our hearts. You have walked with me to the end of this journey, a journey of understanding, of opening the heart, of gentle breaths nurturing compassion in every moment. And if this writing touches your heart even just a little, I hope you will leave a few lines of your feelings in the comments. Not for praise, but to share your true resonance, because who knows, your words may be what uplifts the heart of someone who is lost. And if you want to continue walking together on this path, the path of meditation, of understanding, of kindness, and of inner transformation, you can subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next deep sharings. Every time you show up, every interaction you make is not just motivation, but a subtle companionship for us to nurture a peaceful space together amid this turbulent life. Wishing you always keep the flame of compassion in your heart, a flame that does not burn fiercely, but warm, quiet, and strong enough to illuminate your own journey and the journeys of those around you.